Hello everyone, this is Kaifu here with Game 3 in the series between yours truly and William, where William on my right side is playing Reflect Refrain Elsewhere, while on your left side yours truly, aka Kaifu, is playing Reflect Refrain Sacred Beast. Now these two types of deck are quite similar when it comes to like strategy wise, so pretty much Elsewhere is trying to drop their powerful resonance such as Viper and Adam Broly on turn 2 and turn 3 to overwhelm the opponent. And also the same thing with Sacred Beast as well. Overwhelm the field with Sacred Beast and dropping Hulong as your power play card, and when you do, you get 4 Sacred Beasts on the battlefield and gain a lot of advantage from those. Sacred Beast versus Reflect Refrain Elsewhere, so this will be an interesting matchup as you can see in Game 3 because it will be the finals of the series. So let's get back to the game itself. Currently life point wise 4,000 compared to 4,000. Not much has changed at the moment, so at the moment my opponent is going to play Change the Well, and Change the Well will allow him to gain more counters, so which is a lot problematic for me. The reason I say this is because that the more counter he gets, the more option he gets when it comes to flipping his J-Rule side, so pretty much he can tutor for more cards, cancel my spells, a normal spell should I say, and bounce my cards back, so it can get quite annoying, so he can slowly stock on those counters while I do not have that option at the moment. But however, I do drop the Gretel because taking this opportunity since my opponent is tapped out when it comes to resource wise, so I can ramp up a bit faster so I can get my Hulong and play ASAP, because for those who don't know, Hulong is the win condition of the deck, able to drop it like a +7 because again you get a minimum +4 from the Sacred Beast when it comes to play, and then gain additional +3 from the draw effect, burning card off the field if able, and also bouncing a card back to the opponent's hand and healing life. I know that bouncing card back is not really a plus, but however able to remove a field presence off the field against Elsewhere is very important because Elsewhere requires field advantage, and if they don't have any field advantage they can't really do much at all. So I do drop the Elvish Priest because I do have an open slot to play with, and obviously more ramping for me and able to get the Hulong on the field ASAP is very important, as I said before. Now my opponent is trying to like find some way to stop me from playing my Hulong play, because they know for the fact that if I play my Hulong, or William play my Hulong, he will know that he'll be in a lot of trouble. And a lot of you guys be, why did I wall win Elvish Priest? Because in game, I think game 2 I believe my opponent played the Elvish Priest, and then I was in a disadvantage when it comes to resource wise. He had enough resource to counter all my plays, so I needed Elvish Priest. Either I force him to lose the Elvish Priest or force him to lose a resource, meaning that I don't have to be afraid of like incoming Seal, Wind and Light and so on, so which does give me the upper hand. I am currently 1 resource short when it comes to mana wise, so I can't really drop my Hulong at this state, so I'm gonna take this opportunity for next turn to do it if I can. And I do have a Susanoo in my hand as well, so which is that if my opponent does drop a Viper onto me, at least I can Susanoo off the field if I necessarily need to, if I feel it's a bit problematic. So my opponent is going to play paying 1 resource to drop the Familiar Holy Wind, try and draw more cards, so give him more advantage overall, so meaning allow him to get to his key cards, his sideboard and overall he needs, and so on. Playing 1 Elvish Priest, putting another Elvish Priest in play. I do have a cancels card in my play, but I don't think I was necessarily need to cancel it because I don't think I need to. But I should have to cancel it because at this point my opponent will have 4 resources to play with, so I want to force my opponent to have less resources than to play with me at the moment. He will use it at the end phase to recover his Elvish Priest, so which does allow him to, you know, gain more resources this time. So he does J activate, and so pretty much allowing him to counter any of my spell play. He does play Cheshire Cat, so pretty much at this point, like if even I do counter, he is forced to he will be able to counter with Reflect Refrain. So I was thinking, should I force him to waste the 2 counters or force him to allow him to get a free search off? But at this point, I know I did a misplay. I should have forced the cancel off of the forced the cancel off the Reflect Refrain. So knowing that for the fact that my opponent will not draw into the deeper answer or dig into his answer at this point. So that was a little misplay at my part. So he's going towards the end phase, and I do have a feasting hand, and I was debating should I flash it out, because like I know for the fact that my opponent is setting up for Law Silent, because I did notice my opponent playing Law Silent in Swiss, so meaning I do have the knowledge of what he's trying to do. And I go to my draw phase and ask my opponent do you have any response, and he does Lord Silent me. So at this point I was thinking, should I counter it? So forcing him to be in a situation he was forced to cancel the spell, and if he does force to cancel the spell, he doesn't have as much counter I have to worry about. So I do bait out the counter. So I use Reflect Refrain to draw a card and Druid, Elvish Priest, nothing I really need, but it does allow me to put my Sacred Beast back to the bottom. Now, because I need to put my Sacred Beast back to the bottom, because I know for the fact that my Sacred Beast can't really do much in my hand, because Hulong only plays from the deck, not from the field, not from the hand. You can play from the hand would be a bit better, but not really at all. I do J-activate at this point because I want to put this opportunity for myself. If my opponent does Lord Silent me, at least I have a way to counter it without getting countered by Reflect Refrain. So this gives me an opportunity, and I do have enough resource to J-activate to play Hulong, and I do have the red thanks to Feasting's ability. And I do have Susanoo in hand just in case he tries to do something sneaky, and if he does try to do something sneaky, I can at least force him to do something he doesn't really want to. At the moment, my opponent is playing the 2 mana resource, so pretty much he's playing the 2 Magic Stone resource game at the moment, but he does have 2 Elvish Priests in play, so which does allow him to have an extra resource to play with as well, so which is what I'm kind of worried about. So at this point, I don't really mind at the moment. So back to my draw phase, draw for turn and asking my opponent does he respond, and if he doesn't respond, then meaning I will force him to get a card off the field. So yeah. At this point, I know I didn't misplay. What I should have done is that I should have bounced back the Elvish Priest, but however, I'm not sure what was my opponent trying to do, and I wasn't really thinking. And at this point, he Kunsakage my Hulong, and I was thinking, he has a water magic stone open as well, so I was thinking he might have Kunsakage. So I was thinking, should I really cancel it? I should cancel it, so bait it out at least. So at least I know that he doesn't have it. If he doesn't have it, he must be bluffing it. So if he does bluff it, then he successfully gets the cancel off, and obviously he does have it in hand, so meaning making my plays a bit harder for myself to do. So not only make matters when my Reflect Refrain is currently tapped out, so meaning that I don't have a lot of way to counter his play or bounce back his cards at the moment, because I do not have Change the Will on my side of the field as well. So without Change the Will on my side of the field, I am in a little disadvantage. But however, I'm not worried too much at the moment due to the fact that my opponent's field only has 2 Cheshire Cat, 1 Familiar Holy Wind, and 2 Elvish Priest. So none of them can do a lot of offensive play. So at least I know I'm safe for the time being. Again, not much has changed for life points, 4,000 compared to 4,000. Field wise, Gretel, Elvish Priest, and Feasting compared to Familiar Holy Wind, 2 Elvish Priest, 2 Cheshire Cat, 1 Leviathan, and 2 Change the Will. So when it comes to field advantage, it does favor him at the moment due to the fact that he has Changed the Will to gain those counter. He has Leviathan to give swiftness to his J-Roll, so as soon he J-activate, he can actually tap all his J-Roll for his abilities, and then he does have a lot of field advantage than I do. But however, those field advantage doesn't really matter to me because I know for the fact that his field can't really do much damage to me at the moment in time. Tapping for more counts from the I changed the will, and I have no way of stopping it because I don't have any Regalia removal at the moment because I didn't side it in, or actually I don't have it in my sideboard because I didn't have a lot of space at the moment, so I was a bit debating that I should sacrifice the Regalia Hate for better cards in my sideboard. So that still was the mentality from there. He does incarnate his Kukulu, he incarnates the Adam Broly by sacrificing Cheshire Cat and Familiar Holy Wind, so which does allow him to get a stronger body on the battlefield. So, and not only that, he still has 2 resources to play with his Magic Stone and 2 resources to play with his Elvish Priest, so he didn't lose anything. He also got to draw a card from the Adam Brawler, so which does give him the upper hand, so gaining more hand advantage and so on, and also producing any color will he want as well, so which does allow him to get Wyber really early, and this can be quite scary depending how he does it. So let's see now. At this point, I was thinking what I can do in the following play because I do have 2 Susanoo in my hand. 2 Susanoo in my hand is not really helpful at this current time because I do not really want to hard cast it with 6 resource, and not only that, I can't even play it even if I wanted to because I need at least 3 reds, and only at the moment I have 1 red because I only have 1 Feasting in play. And he does drop the Wyber in play, and that is kind of scary now because Wyber does put a lot of focus onto his one of his main attackers. So at this point in time, I'm not too afraid because I do have the Susanoo in my hand to back up. So at this point, I would take this opportunity to cast Susanoo and kill the Viper, so I don't worry too much because Susanoo killing the Viper is only his main attacker, so that's what to worry about. And yeah, and I was thinking what he can do at this point in time, and I don't think he can really do much. And plus, even he does a lot of stuff on the battlefield, he can't really literally kill me at this point because placing all the attack together and I block on the battlefield, so pretty much I'm quite safe. Dropping the second Viper now, that is kind of scary now. Two Vipers in play. I am kind of like, oh, what is he trying to do? Those Vipers are really powerful, and not only that, he does have the change the world to pump up his counters, and not only that, he can still jet activate and still play with the 2 resource magic stone lineup. So at the moment, I am in a huge disadvantage when it comes to field advantage. So he's going to draw a card from Refrain and put a card back to the bottom. So it is quite scary because I know for the fact that I don't have a second too long in my hand, so I'd have no way to stop my opponent. And he J activate to reflect Refrain, so pretty much allow him to gain counters and so on and stop my stuff. And at this point in time, he is going to Lord Silent me pretty much, and he does Lord Silent me. And I did notice that I did not flip back to my raw form by accident, so I lost the opportunity to gain counter. So another misplay played by me. So at the moment, I'm like, oh, this is quite bad. But luckily, I did drew into feasting. Luckily, without the feasting, I think I would have died from this range due to the fact that my opponent has Vipers and so on, and I can't really stop this Viper from killing me at this point. It can easily do 24 damage, but at this point, it's not enough damage on board to kill me at this range. So yeah, and I do have Reflect Refrain on the battlefield to actually bounce something back on the field if I really need to, but at the moment, I don't really want to bounce the Vipers because at this point I do have 2 Susanoo, as I said before. With the 2 Susanoo in my hand, as long he doesn't Lord Silent me next turn, I can cast Susanoo and kill the Vipers. And with killing Vipers, he has no way doing a lot of DPS damage. Again, for those who don't know, in Owl's World, the only main attacker is Vipers, and without those Vipers, he can't literally kill me at all. So it does give me the upper hand at this rate. So gain more 2 counters and not using the upper counter because he knows for the fact that if I able to, you know, do some kind of shenanigan play with interaction spells, he can at least cancel my play. And he does play Spring of the Beast Lady, so which is kind of scary at this point because all his Resonate and J-Roll gets +6/+6, so all those Vipers going to be hitting for 18 damage. So quite scary at this time. So swing for 18, and I do cast the feasting, so no damage being dealt to me at this point. And he has no way countering it because he did tap down his 2 resource magic stone and also he's one of his Elvish Priests. Even he does have a Whirlwind in my hand, I do have enough resource to counter it anyway. So I'm not going to take too much damage from this upcoming attack, and I do have the Reflect Refrain option to bounce back on his Viper if I need to. So I'm not too scared at the moment with the feasting in play, so preventing that first Viper damage does allow me to put myself in a strong position. And sorry for the sorry for the cameras moving around because my camera is actually being put on the table, and obviously with my hand shuffling and obviously moving the table as well, it does force the tripod to move a bit and shake a bit as well. So sorry about that, guys. So now my opponent is thinking what he can do because he's trying to, at this point, try to kill me at this point in time, but I don't think he can kill me at all, and it's taking swing for 18, and I was thinking I should take it because I know I will survive this massive onslaught anyway. But however, the reason why I didn't bounce back the Viper because I want to kill the Viper. I do not want my opponent to have a Viper in his hand. The more if I know he has a Viper, I know that for the fact that he can do at least damage, and if he Lord Silent me, it'll be a lot of trouble. And because I know my opponent is currently tapped out at the moment, I know for the fact that he cannot Lord Silent me. And I was thinking, he's attacking with Elvish Priest at this point, and what I should have done at this point, I was thinking about it, what he can actually do. He can hit me for 800 with the Familiar Halloween and hit me 12 from the Adam Broly, so that will be at least allow me to survive on 200. But for some reason my brain was thinking about something else, and I did a little misplay later on, because I was thinking and I was kind of like debating what I can do, because again he's in a stronger demanding position than I am. So I'll take the 700 damage. What I should have done is that I use Reflect Refrain's ability, bounce it back to my opponent's hand, because I know for the fact that I do not want my opponent to have any resource on the battlefield, because I will still survive regardless what happens. But I should have bounced back the Elvish Priest. But now I was thinking about, wait, why didn't I bounce back the Elvish Priest? Now that Familiar Holy Wind is swinging for 800 damage to me, and I should have bounced it back in general, because if now I'm forced to like either bounce the Adam Broly or bounce back the Familiar Holy Wind, and I do not want to bounce either of them, especially Adam Broly. If I bounce back Adam Broly, sure, he is the strongest resident onto the battlefield, but however, at this point in time, I was thinking, nah, I don't really think I should do it, because like, if I bounce back to Adam Broly, again, the Adam Broly can be incarnated once more, gaining more hand advantage, field advantage at the same time, so I do not want that to happen. So I was thinking I'll bounce back one card, but I was debating which one. So at this point I've debated, I'll bounce back to Familiar Holy Wind, because Familiar Holy Wind sure allows me to draw a card, but however, at least it's not Adam Broly, which gives him a lot of advantage. And I'll block with the Corretto and see if he really wants to use Reflect Refrain's ability to bounce it back to my hand. If he does do it, meaning he will be out of resource to play with. So he doesn't bounce back to my hand, so meaning my block was successful. If he even bounces back to my hand, I still survive with 300 life, so that won't be a good position for him anyway. So I'm completely fine with that if he doesn't bounce back to my hand. And I cast the Susanoo, killing one of the Vibers, and obviously my opponent won't have a lot of interaction there besides the Reflect Refrain, which can bounce the Viber back. But again, bouncing the Viber back doesn't really help him in any situation, because like he is only, I know for the fact that he has Familiar Holy Wind, so, and he only has 2 resources to play with. And here's one of my misplay again by accident. I was trigger happy for some reason, very heavy on trigger happy at the moment. Play the second Susanoo, killing the Viper. What I should have done at this point is that when I cast my first Susanoo, killing the first Viper, I should attack into the Adam Broly first, forcing either the bounce back from Reflect Refrain on his Adam Broly, or bounce back my Susanoo, which I can cast once more and kill the Viper and attack into the Adam Broly again. That was a little misplay by me once more. I'm sorry about that. I was like in under pressure at the moment, so I was thinking like, yes, now I get a field advantage back now. Attack into the Adam Broly, and he bounced back to my hand. I was, oh yeah, I forgot about the bounce effect. Now I attack again into the Adam Broly with the Susanoo, forcing him to lose more counters. Not only that, forcing him to like not only lose counter, but obviously he's not gaining any advantage by bouncing back to my hand, because if he puts more Vibe on the field, I can still cast Susanoo out. So it wasn't a bad trade-off, but again, that was a little misplay by me. What I should have done is that, as I said before, attack directly with the Susanoo into the Adam Broly first before casting the second one out. So yeah, that's a little misplay by me, but well, it happens sometimes. Now at this point in time, I was thinking what I can really do. I can actually play the Phoenix in my hand, burn 200 something on the field, which is irrelevant, and then play the Phoenix down and run into the Elvish Priest. But however, that will definitely leave me wide open from direct attack from the Adam Broly, and I know that he already used Spring of the Base Lady, but however, I do not know how many copies he has in his deck, and because I do not know that information, it doesn't allow me to recklessly do some offensive plays. So now I'm gonna take this opportunity to play a bit more defensively by playing the Elvish Priest on the field, because I was really debating should I actually drop the Phoenix and attack the Elvish Priest, giving me less resource to play with. But I think playing a bit more defensive now is a bit better for me, due to the fact that I'm on 15 life and he's on 4,000, and he obviously has a stronger field than I am at the moment, so I'm not looking too good for me at the moment as well. But at least for the fact that my opponent's counters on Reflect Refrain is all gone, so meaning that I don't have to worry about too much at the moment. However, he does have free change the one in play, so which he can get a lot more resource onto his counters. Playing more Gianna by tapping the Elvish Priest, so which does allow him to like accelerate his resource plays, and not only that, gain draw power from the Familiar Holy Wind. And it does result because I have no way of stopping it, as he already knows that I have 2 Susanoo in my hand, and obviously 1 Phoenix will not help me at all, so I didn't draw any of my interaction spell at this point in time. So let's see what he can actually do. I was thinking what he can actually do at the moment, but he only plays 2 Resonate, and I'm not too scared at the moment. But however, he does drop the the third Guiber in play. I was thinking, why would you play the Guiber in play when you know you have Susanoo in hand? So at this point, he's trying to recover one of his Resonator, which is Elvish Priest. Now I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to Lord Silent me and then swing for a lot of damage directly to my face. So yeah, not looking too good for me at the moment. So yeah, he did end phase untapping the Elvish Priest. And I blocked with my Elvish Priest because my Elvish Priest can't really do much. Yes, I could have blocked with the Feasting, but I wasn't sure what he had in his hand, and I don't really want to allow him to, like, you know, give him the opportunity to do that as well. So now he's going to pay 3 counters onto Change the World and remove 4 counters from Reflected Rain. And obviously with 2 green up, he's got Lord Silent at this point. And he does Lord Silent me, so I can't play anything for this turn. But however, at least I know for the fact that for my next turn, at least my Reflected Frame will be on 2 counters, so I can bounce back his wipe if necessary need to. But however, I drew into the Sign to the Future with Reflected Frame's ability, so making that a bit easier for me to handle this situation. Now I have an interaction spell, because now I can interact with my opponent's draw phase, not worrying about what he's trying to do. So yeah, very lucky on this end because I drew into it instead of, like, you know, not having an answer. And during his draw phase, I do activate Sign to the Future, removing his 2 biggest Resonate in play, so which is Adam Broly and his Guiber. So now I already killed 3 Guibers already, so meaning he has 1 more left in his deck, assuming from my point of view. So meaning I don't need to, like, you know, worry about too much about the other Guiber, because I have the other Guiber in check because I have a Susanoo in my hand. Now my opponent has 2 Elvish Priests, 1 Familiar Holy Wind, 1 Treasure Cat, 1 Morgiana, compared to my 2 Feasting and 1 Elvish Priest, and also my Reflected Frame on the battlefield with 2 counters. So obviously I'm not too scared now because his field is not that intimidating without the Guibers. So obviously I'm not too afraid what he's trying to do at this point. So field wise, we do have Elvish Priest 2 Feasting compared to 2 Elvish Priests, 1 Familiar Holy Wind, 1 Treasure Cat, 1 Morgiana, 3 Change the World, and 1 Leviathan itself. So my opponent is going to use the effect from a Reflect Refrain, which does allow him to check the top 3 cards instead because of Morgiana's ability, and it will give him the option to search for answer a bit easier. However, I do have a Hydra Monica in my hand, which is great because Hydra Monica will allow me to tutor for any card and leave on top of my deck, which is very important because, again, with the option of having to tutor for any card for paying 2 resources, you can search for your win condition and so on. So which does allow me to search for my Hulong. Now if you count my resource wise, I have 5 Magic Stone, 2 Feasting, and 1 Elvish Priest. So that's a total of, you know, 8 resource. So if I play the Hydra Monica next turn, if he does a Lord Silent me, and able to crack the Hydra Monica, search for Hulong, put on top of my deck, and use Reflect Refrain's ability on the raw side, draw a card and put 1 back to the bottom. So it will allow me to draw into it regardless what will happen. But now all I have to worry about is that cancel spell he might have in hand, because I do not know what kind of cancel spell he play. I do know that he might play Whirlwind, so it might be a little bit risky play from this end. So let's see now. Thinking what he's producing, what color he's going to be producing for now. Most likely he'll be producing for white if he has a white in hand, but instead he actually produces blue. So I was wondering what I can do with blue, and he J-activated from the right off the bat, so meaning that he's trying to do something at this time. Paying 4 resource from the counter to use search ability, because he does have a Leviathan in play, so it does allow him to tutor for any cards. So I was thinking, what are you trying to do? I count his 2 resource, his 2 open, and also another 2 open with the Elvish Priest and also the Incarnation from the effect. And the counting has 4 different Resonates, so he's going to play Alice World from my assumption. So I was thinking, are you going to play Alice World? Because even he does play Alice World, his Adam Broly can't attack me, and 3 of your other Resonate is really weak, so I can actually survive it anyway. So he's going to pay a total of 4 resource, which is 2 opening wheels and obviously 2 Magic Stone in play to play Alice World. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna take an extra turn, which is kind of frustrating, but however, his field is not that scary at this point in time, because I know for the fact that I can I can block all those Morgiana, all that Familiar Holding, and Elvish Priest if you really want to attack me with it. So yeah, by reflecting on this play at the moment, I can tell that I'm already, when it comes to life point wise, I'm already disadvantaged by how I have to play very defensively, so I have to play very cautiously at the point, while my opponent can play a bit more recklessly. So I was thinking, what can you actually do when you even go back to your turn? Because I have like 2 Feasting and 1 Elvish Priest to block me, and obviously the current 3 Resident you have on the battlefield at the moment is not enough to even survive against those cards. So I was thinking, what you're actually trying to do. So he's going for a bit more aggressive now, and I was thinking, why are you attacking me? And I don't know why at the moment, but however, I still have my Reflect Refrain on the Jade Rule side with 2 counters, so pretty much I can at least bounce something back if I really need to. So blocking with the Feasting, because I do not want that Morgiana, give him more answer if he has a draw card in his hand. He's attacking with Elvish Priest for 100, I was thinking, I will block with my Elvish Priest, but what I should have done, I should block with my Feasting, killing the Elvish Priest off, giving him less resource to play because he only has 2 Magic Stone at the moment. With only 2 Magic Stone, I don't need to worry about it. If I kill the Elvish Priest with the Feasting instead, he doesn't have 3 resource instead of 2 resource. So a little misplayed play by me, but however, I really want to kill the Familiar Holy for some odd reason, and I don't know why. Don't question me, I don't know why I did that as well. So yeah. And he's going to his second turn, and I was thinking what he can actually do. And I was thinking, like, my Resonant is tapped out, so pretty much I can't play any defensive game at the moment except for my Reflect Refrain on the Jade Rule side, which I can bounce something back. And I don't have any interaction spell in my hand because I only have 2 Susano and 1 Hydro Monica as well. So I was thinking, what can you do? And plus, since he's going back to his turn, he can't really flip back to his rule form, so I don't need to worry too much about him bouncing my field and so on. So yeah, and sorry for the noises outside, guys. I don't know why people like hammering or something. It must be windy or something, I don't know. So yeah, sorry for the noises if you did hear it. So let's see now. Currently life point wise 1500 compared to 4000 life point. Field wise 2 Feasting, 1 Elvish Priest compared to 1 Elvish Priest, 1 Adam Broly, 3 Change the Will, and 1 Live Faithen. So obviously when it comes to Resonant wise, my opponent has a stronger Resonant, but how for defensive wise, obviously I have a stronger defense because like my Reflect Refrain is still on the battlefield, so I can bounce it back if I really need to. But all now, let's see now what is my opponent trying to do in this situation. He has a lot of cards in hand obviously, but however, with only Elvish Priest and 2 Magic Stone to play, he doesn't really have a lot of option to do because a lot of his cards are in as well. If you want to put like stuff on the battlefield, you have to use a lot of resource, and I do know that for the fact that Alice will plays a lot of 1-drops, and those 1-drops are only good into early game, so meaning that if you can't go to the late game, I'll be fine. And he does tap 1 Magic Stone surprisingly, so he's got paid 3 to drop Alice's different dimension, which actually surprised me because it's not usually you see in your Alice World deck. So still on the chase, I was thinking what can he actually do, and my Reflect Refrain is still in play, so I can still respond to this summon. So in response to summon, I bounce back to the Adam Brawler, so not allowing my opponent to play any offensive play. And yes, I did say that bouncing Adam Brawler back is not great at all, but however, he can't do anything at this time. He only has 1 resource to play with. If he has like a lot stronger battlefield, yes, I will not bounce back the Adam Brawler, but since his field is quite weak at the moment when it comes to Resonators, I don't need to worry about it too much at this time. So yeah, so I'm not too worried what he's trying to do. Paying 1, dropping Cheshire Cat, which just allows him to draw 2 cards, and again, I'm not too worried what he's drawing into because I know for the fact that one of them is an Adam Brawler, so pretty much if he wants to Adam Brawler me, he has to incarnate his Cheshire Cat and his Elvish Priest, so meaning that he has less resource to play with, and not only that, less field advantage as well. And also to the point that he can't attack me this turn because he already bounced back the Adam Brawler who can attack, but however, obviously not allow him to attack, meaning that he has to recast it again, so meaning his Adam Brawler, this new Adam Brawler can't attack me at the moment. So I'm feeling quite more confident now because not worrying about too much about him, his Resonant. He does have a stronger Resonant as I said before, but again, I'm not too worried what he's trying to do. So yeah. Playing Elvish Priest because he did have a floating mana, so meaning he has an extra blocker and that extra resource to play with as well. flip back to my raw form because I know for the fact that I have no counter, means I can't do anything with it. And I drew into Whirlwind, so pretty much it will allow me to counter one of his play if I need to. Not only that, he does have one Elvish Priest in play, so which kind of worries me because if he has a Whirlwind in his hand, he can actually stop my plays. So first I want to bait out the Reflect Refrain countering my Regalia if he gains more counter on top of it. So pretty much giving counter and so on, but he doesn't counter it, so pretty much taking this opportunity, using Reflect Refrain, using the Hydromonica, search for a card and put on top of my deck. So pretty much at least I can draw into it from Reflect Refrain's ability. So yeah, this is a great opportunity for me at the moment, so not to worry about what he's trying to do. So yeah, putting on top of my deck, and obviously I'm gonna tap for another Magic Stone because I'm still fearing about that Whirlwind, because like if he does Whirlwind me, at least I have one feasting in play to stop that from resolving. And I actually forgot to use Reflect Refrain's ability to draw a card, but again, I can just draw into it now, so pretty much nothing has been played. Pay a total of 6 and drop my Hulong now. So he is currently tapped out except for that Elvish Priest, so even he Whirlwind me at this point, I can at least counter with my feasting because my feasting is one resource to play with at the moment. So now I now have the power play to drop all 4 my Sacred Beasts in play, so getting a total of +4 already when it comes to field advantage. Not only that, getting a draw power, burning half the field and bouncing card back, and healing life, which is important because I'm down in life point. So now I'm gonna bounce back the Elvish Priest because I don't want him to have extra resource, and burning 800 towards the Alice and healing 8 life, which is important. Now I'm back to 23 life and burning 800 towards the Alice because he does not have enough counter onto it. But however, I didn't count his counter, so pretty much he does bounce it back to his hand and bounce back the Elvish Priest. So now he has less resource to play with, and I draw a card as well. So now I'm in a strong demanding position because now I know for the fact that I can still survive any attack he tried to do because I'm on 23 life now, and not only that, I have a stronger field now with 4 Sacred Beasts and Hulong and feasting in play because now I have 1 Whirlwind in hand, and he only has 2 free resources to play with, so pretty much if he hard casts anything with higher than 3 cost, I can counter it really easily. So now my opponent has to play very safe now because obviously I am in the demanding position when it comes to field wise. I have like, if you compare the field, as you see, 1 Adam Broly, 1 Leviathan, 3 Change the World compared to 1 of each Sacred Beast in the battlefield, 2 Feasting, 1 Elvish Priest, and 1 Hulong. So obviously when it comes to field advantage, it does go towards me now, and not only that, I still have 23 life, so he has to have at least 2 Wyverns to attack me directly for game, since I have no flyers at the point. So let's see what can Willem do now. He only has 3 resources to play with compared to my 6 Magic Stone and 2 Feasting, 1 Elvish Priest. So he does drop the Morgiana, so Morgiana does allow him to get more answer if he needs to, or shoot it for into answer a bit easier, so doesn't have to worry about top decking at this point. So he does grab the Horn, so the Horn does allow him to shuffle his graveyard, so I didn't know what he's trying to do. So yeah. And then he, let's see what he can do. He's trying to intimidate me at the moment, but he can't really do much. He dropped the Horn. I was thinking, what can he actually do with the Horn? And I do know that he could try to recycle his Law of Silence, but however, even you recycle your Law of Silence at this point, I already have a strong field, so it doesn't really matter at this point if you do Law of Silence me. So he does sacrifice his Horn and shuffle his graveyard back to his deck. So not only that, I don't have to worry about the Law of Silence, but now I just need to worry about the Wyvern if it does comes out, if he survives the following play I'm trying to do. So yeah, it really depends what he's trying to do at this point in time, and I'm not too worried because, like, again, I have a stronger field advantage than he does. Currently life point wise, 2,300 compared to 4,000 life point. He's currently not in a great position because again he's only playing with 2 free Magic Stone at the moment, and he is trying to overwhelm my field, which is a lot of big resonators like an 8-8, a 5-7, a 4-4, a 6-6, a 14-14, and a 2 extra resource to play with Feasting and Elvish Priest. So now he is like not in a strong position at this point. And he only has 2 blockers, so being if I able to get rid of those 2 blockers, I'm in the lead. And he J activates it and change the world, getting 4 counters, to search for a card and add to his hand. With 2 resource opening, I'm pretty sure he's trying to Lord Silent me. And you know what? I'm going to counter it because I had enough of your Lord Silent. I know Lord Silent would not do anything at this point, but I did drew into another Hulong, so pretty much if I play the second Hulong, I win the game. Because I can bounce his field, burn his card off the field, it will give me the upper hand. And I do play the Hulong, and Hulong does resolve because he has no way to respond to me. And I'm going to drop all 4 Sacred Beasts once more, so gaining a lot of field advantage. Not only that, gain more life as well because I do have extra 4 Sacred Beasts, so I can gain a total of, let's see, 16 life, so which does put me back to 3,900 life points. So using draw first, bouncing the Morgiana because Morgiana is not important, burning off the Adam Roll because Adam Roll is a problem. So now I'm clearing the field and leaving himself wide open because again, he's currently tapped out. His Change the World's tapped out, his Refrain's tapped out, his Magic Stone's tapped out. I don't need to worry about anything. So this is a clear field for me to go for game at this point in time. I drew in the Gretel from the Dragon, but however I'm putting it back to the bottom because I don't need it. So I'm going to swing for 18 directly because I do control a lot more Sacred Beasts now. Plus put him down to 2,200 life point and back to 39 life point with me, so meaning whatever damage he dealt in the early game is back to normal. Using the Dragon's effect to pump all my Sacred Beasts +2/+2, swing for 600 with the Phoenix, swing 600 with the Phoenix once more. And I was swing with 800, and that should be the game regardless of what happens. Swing the game, and that's the game, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time. Peace.